Welcome to a year in politics with me, Christopher Hope, political editor at GB News. Well, the last few months of this year have been bumpy, but the whole year has been a heck of a ride. I'm here to remind you what happened by going through the front pages and just looking at the drama that we played out for you at GB News. But it's pretty cold here in Downing Street. Should we go to the pub? Welcome to the Redline Pub, where people come to shelter from the political storm outside and grab a pint of beer and plot. I'm joined by two terrific journalists, the finest of their generation in Westminster. Kevin Maguire, of course, from the Daily Mirror, and Quentin Letts from the Daily Mail. We're going to have a review of the last 6 months of this year. Sit tight, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
So that's our decision. And having honoured the independent pay review process, I urge all union leaders to accept these pay offers and call off their strikes.
And so July started, with Rishi Sunak finally caving in on public sector salaries. The unknown Susan Hall became the Tory candidate for next year's London mayoral elections.
And I pledge that I will stop the ULEZ expansion on day one of my mayoralty.
It was to become one of the biggest issues of the party at one of the by-elections that same month, which ended with a bang when 3 by-elections were held on the same day. Labour and the Lib Dems won one each of the previously safe Tory seats. But the Tories used anger about ULEZ to hang on to Uxbridge and South Ruislip.
This by-election has been a referendum on ULEZ. It's absolutely been clear what the people of Uxbridge and South Ruislip want. They don't want ULEZ expanded, and Sadiq Khan needs to listen to the result of this by-election. I wasn't expected to win it, Labour were. And
forced the Labour Party to rethink its national strategy on ULEZ-type schemes. The month ended with a shocking scandal of Nigel Farage being debanked.
This is not about politics. It's not about opinions. I've been treated disgustingly. So many other people have been treated disgustingly. The difference is I have a voice that I can use on this, and I now intend to be a voice for everybody else.
And that led to the resignation of the NatWest chief executive for publicly disclosing personal information about Farage's accounts. August started with the government trying to tackle the UK's migrant crisis. We saw the first asylum seekers boarding the Bibby Stockholm barge, only to leave the vessel a week later due to an outbreak of Legionella. The controversial ULEZ extension in Greater London finally came into force at the end of that month.
Listen, I'm always sorry for anybody who's suffering adverse consequences because of our policies, but at the same time, I've got to be honest with people.
And a mini reshuffle saw Ben Wallace leave and Grant Shapps become the new Defence Secretary, while close ally of Sunak, Claire Coutinho, became Energy Secretary. But things started crumbling for the government in September as weak rat concrete closed schools, and ministers were asked why they had taken so long to do anything about it.
Does anyone ever say, you know what, you've done a good job because everyone else has sat on their and done nothing? No signs of that, no?
The news interview had finished, or apparently after it had finished. And I'd like to apologise for my choice language. That was unnecessary.
Labour conducted its own reshuffle. Deputy leader Angela Rayner was given the levelling up brief, while Pat McFadden, a veteran of Tony Blair's government, became National Campaign Coordinator to gear up the party for the next general election. Sir Keir Starmer went to France to strengthen his personal relationship with President Emmanuel Macron.
We had a very constructive and positive meeting, which, as you can imagine, covered a wide range of issues. It was my first opportunity to say how much I value the relationship between our two countries, particularly when it comes to prosperity and security.
While the government decided to water down its net zero pledges.
The test should be, do we have the fairest credible path to reach net zero by 2050 in a way that brings people with us? Now, since I've become Prime Minister, I've examined our plans, and I don't think they meet that test.
September finished with a Lib Dem party conference, where members defied the leadership and voted to keep housing targets in England.
And what people object to about housing developments is that the Conservative approach, the developer-led approach, has meant that you haven't built communities.